One win, 12 rounds gone, and one of their star players, Carlisle, has been out for a couple of weeks suspension. He's played 115 games now with both the Bombers and the Saints. Good enough to join us tonight. Jake, thanks for your time on Talking Footy.
No worries, boys. Thanks for having me.
Might be a bit more humour for your coach today. You saw him go down the slide. Interesting choice of costume. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. It was obviously a bit of an inside joke with the guys on 360, but yeah, it was pretty funny to see him get a little bit wet.
What was the game review like today? Did you go through the performance? What was Richo's reaction to the performance?
It actually wasn't as bad as you think. It's just simple terms. We broke it down to, yeah, just obviously the contest and the pressure. And I said before that we had a highlights package of Josh Battle, second game player that just showed the way for, patches of the game, which is a club, it's good to see that happen. But at the same time, we need guys to step up who have played a lot longer, and we're just not getting it done.
Jakey, you hear us sit back and have our views because we're on the outside looking in and what we think might or mightn't be going wrong. Can you pinpoint what's gone wrong this year?
It's not an easy question because if it was easy, we'd be playing all right. But I just think our pressure around the footy is not there. Last year at times we were in games it was, and we're in games for a lot as well. I don't think we lay enough tackles as well. So it's easy to say as a defender because we don't need to lay as many as the midfielders. But it's just we've just got to get pretty much dirty every week to try and perform, and it's just not happening.
I reckon one of the worries for me is when a player, Jack Billings' quality in class, is out of the side. To me, there's a lot of responsibility on the player. He went back at 53 possession, kicked 3 goals. But I worry about the club as well, that if you can't get someone with that amount of talent to be playing well, there's a bit of an issue. Can you explain why he's not playing at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not sure the full details, but I think JB was one of our better performers last year. Every game he just seemed to get better and better across the midfield and half forward, and this year we just haven't been able to see him replicate that. So I probably can understand why he's gone back to VFL and get a bit of confidence. So it was good to see him perform, and hopefully he's back in with myself next week.
Brownie mentioned the Tigers game earlier last year when you did so well and won convincingly. What's changed? What do you think's changed since then with the makeup?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's we voted obviously ourselves on that game. We felt like we didn't work as hard as what we do for other games, so it was sort of a bit cliche to see us perform so well. And then obviously Richmond going on and win the flag. So we just try to replicate what we did that game and take it into this year and obviously the pre-season, and we just haven't got it done. So yeah, we've just got to get back to basics and do everything well.
So I've been told this story now, maybe just a myth, but told that you were a massive Bulldog supporter as a young kid, and that even 6 months into your tenure as an AFL player at Essendon, you still had the posters on your wall. Is that true, or is that have I been misled?
Oh yeah, it's part true, but that's what happens when you still live at home and you don't get the luxury of having what you want on your wall sometimes. So I was too lazy to take it down back then, but as soon as I moved out, it came down pretty quick.
And your partner's pregnant. When is the baby due?
Yeah, she's just over 30 weeks pregnant in middle of August. Middle of
August. Are you the type of player that'd miss a game of football for the birth of your child?
Well, with the way we're going, it's looking likely. But yeah, I'll definitely. I wouldn't want to miss that for the world in the first one.
And what other things you're doing outside of footy, Jake? What else is going on? I know you like to get down the Calder Cannons every now and then and help out the club where you came from.
Yeah, I had a couple of years off, obviously, in 2016 and did some building with Buxton. I've put that on hold for now, and now doing some defence stuff at the Cannons. So I'm enjoying that. And then hopefully, can have a few teammates join me next year.
And the tats are in, mate. You just decided to get a watch on there?
It's actually, the time I was born.
Oh, was it? Is it? What time were you born?
11:41.
Hey, still people are talking about Joey and Rui obviously retiring at the end of the year. I mean, you're a senior player now, over 100 games. Was it the right thing to retire both at the same time? Should have one stayed? Was it correct or not?
Well, in hindsight, it's probably not going well, but at the same time, we're getting games into Bailey Rice, Ed Phillips, those sort of guys that are performing. So that's what you want. You've got youth coming up, and we're all playing together now where, we've got a half year to still improve for next year. So it's not easy coming in and performing. From 0 to 10 games, it's always tough. But once you get a taste, you know what you've got to work on. You get to the pre-season and work on it, and obviously come back bigger and better next year. So we feel like we're getting guys like Billings, myself, Robin. We've got guys that are playing nearly 100 games. And with these guys coming up, pushing pushing the competitive aspect of the game, I think it's really good for the club.
Jake, two guys that we haven't seen much of this year, really high-quality players for the group in Dylan Robertson with his heart condition and Kobe Stevens with the concussion. Give the Saints fan updates on those guys. They're probably not going to come back this year, but will they come back and play football at all?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Cobes at the moment, so it's pretty tough on both of them. I think Robbo's just for the year, and then we're going to try and push him in the pre-season, see how he goes and reacts to everything that he has to do. So it's disappointing for us, obviously, as a playing group, because we love them both, and they're very good players, and for the fans as well to see that, it's not ideal. So
have they been around the club at all?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they're in good spirits at the moment, which is, I suppose, all we can ask for. But yeah, it'd be good to have them out there.
Have got a lot of players missing on your list. BT mentioned that game, round 16 last year. You belt the Tigers. These are the players that played in that game that are no longer or aren't playing at the moment. So it's a big changeover when you think about it. Rewalt, Jake's out at the moment. Longer, you can go through the list there. Jack Billings playing in the VFL. Jaron Geary was injured. So it is a significant list turnover. Saturday night, 4 of your top 5 best and fairest, including you, weren't playing. So there are reasons that make sense as to why it's been a pretty tough year as well.
Yeah, there's always reasons that you can probably blame, but at the same time, as I said, we're just not performing, and it doesn't matter who's on the park or not. As soon as you put on the jumper, you're there to perform, and as I said before, it's good to see Battle come in for his second game and pretty much show the way.
Who are you liking in the competition? What you would have had a bit of a look around? Any team you particularly like and think are going all right at the moment?
Yeah, it's sort of tough. I think West Coast, watching them last week,
pretty good, aren't they?
From home, they're going well, and they never seem to really lose at home. I think Kennedy started pretty slow.
Who'll win that game? West Coast Sydney next Friday night.
Where's it at?
Sydney.
West Coast, fresh.
Okay.
Who do you like playing, or who don't you like playing on in the competition? You missed that game. Great opportunity to play on a Darling. I know he got injured, but is there a centre half forward out there that you don't really like playing on, that you sort of have a nervous night's sleep beforehand?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to only have one bag kicked on me, really, and that was by Buddy. So it was sort of good that
first play.
Yeah, we didn't play, and then
he's going to have a statue one day. So that's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, your living arrangements, we've heard that you go home and you live with an old teammate of Brian's who's become an internet sensation. Have you heard of Angry Dad?
Not until tonight.
This has got millions and millions of downloads. I'm going to ask you about Angry Dad in a minute, but here's a little snapshot of Angry Dad, who used to be an old teammate of Brian's. Have a look at this.
Got milk carton and some sticky tape. Oh, for sake! What the back?
That is a phenomenon. So and tell us about. So you spent a bit of time living with that man. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, he's a ripper. Just said to BT before, he's one of the most genuine blokes you ever meet, but he's got a short fuse, so and he's very passionate with certain things he talks about.
I've always wanted to know, are they set up, those ones, or is that
it's his sons who stitch him up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the son's obviously set it up, but no, it's legit.
His reaction.
It's legit. His reaction. He'll just go off.
Is the house chaos?
It's actually it's not as chaos as you think. It's pretty calm, but as I said, yeah, when he gets the hold of something, he goes for it.
Is that the angriest person you've ever met? Because we think our man in his prime, Jake. I'm not sure you've ever seen this vision, but this is an angry man. You live with Angry Dad, but how do you reckon Brian goes?
Geez, you've got right against each other, wouldn't you? You didn't play on each other, did you?
No, well, we did at training. But he was a good player, Angry Dad. He was a very, very talented player.
Lots of questions coming through for Jake Carlisle. We genuinely appreciate him coming on. Dylan Orville says he's living with me. Who's Dylan?
Well, it's a son.
Dill's a son, yeah. So he's one of my good mates, and actually, I think I wrote back to that as well. He ended up leaving me for his missus, so I forget what it's like to be living with him because he's all loved up. So. I miss you, Dill.
The Saints need you big time at the moment. saintsmembership.com.au. Get behind the St Kilda Football Club. They've got the off-field stuff ticking along their back at Moorabbin, but at the moment things are a little bit tough. Jake, not easy to turn up when your club's going the way it is. Really respect you doing that tonight. Thanks a lot.
No worries, thank you.
Jake.